Welcome to the Mike Sports Podcast Show. This is your host, Mike. Welcome to the podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, because we love your input. Sports Podcast Show, where we talk sports, basketball, football, whatever is relevant in today's time, sports wise. We're going to jump right into a host of topics related to mostly basketball. So some fun stuff. Starting out with the shout outs. Baseball is back. Very cool to get baseball back. First day, opening day is back. I don't have a particular team that I root for. Growing up though in Richmond, Virginia, we had the what was called the Richmond Braves. So I kind of always considered myself like a Brave fan in the sense, just going to the games, and they were affiliated with the Atlanta Braves. So I guess you could say that's a team that I root for. Now in Memphis, we have the Redbirds, which is affiliated with the Cardinals. So I kind of root for the Cardinals a bit. But baseball is back. Paul George is back with the Philadelphia 76ers. What does that mean for the 76ers, who also just got Joel Embiid? They put up an astronomical point uh, win just recently. I believe last night, scoring over 150 points. What does that say for the league? Are they a super sleeper? I think they are in the playoff race. They're quietly joining the playoff conversation as a team that we need to look out for. Certainly, Maxi, Paul George, and Joel Embiid, with the role players that they have, uh, is nothing to sniff at, nothing to ignore. So we'll see how they do in these coming last couple of weeks of the NBA season. Um, give a shout out to the VCU humble overachievers. I said in the last podcast that I believe Memphis should model their style of play and their culture kind of after VCU, after programs like Houston and St. Louis, just tough minded teams. I'm kind of a little disappointed, honestly, that we haven't heard anything from the Memphis basketball program since the Ed Scott, Penny Hardaway interview or press conference, uh, because of just the sense of urgency that they seem to have. Doesn't mean that they're not doing anything. I'm pretty sure they are, but I thought we hear something by now. Uh, so we still have that to look forward to. Shout out to Arkansas and Houston. I'm really, really rooting for an Arkansas Houston final. Arkansas and Houston have big matchups tonight, this weekend. So I'm really rooting for you guys. root for Arkansas. Arkansas has some Memphis ties with Billy Richmond being from Memphis, so rooting for Arkansas and also rooting for Houston. But it's going to be some really good games tonight, college basketball wise, Sweet 16. I really look forward to watching those games. Shout out to the Lakers. Luca is averaging 39.5 points per game. He's also third in assists in the league, I believe. These last 11 games, he's been averaging 39.5, uh, just tearing it up. And LeBron is not showing his age whatsoever. I mean, just look at the Pacers versus the Lakers highlights. Granted, it's the Pacers and they're tanking, but LeBron, which is out there embarrassing folks, embarrassing, I mean, toddlers, literally. While he was in the league, they were toddlers. Uh, but I mean, LeBron is just, I mean, beyond his years, um, doing things at 42 that we've never seen. Hot topics. Want to talk about blue bloods. We got Kansas. Now, the typical blue bloods, okay, are Kansas, Duke, UNC, Kentucky, and UConn. Those are the blue blood, what we consider blue bloods. And if there's one thing that we've learned over this week is that for them, it's championship or failure. That's that's it. It's either championship or failure. Their fan bases consider it a disappointment if they do not make it to the championship round or make it to the final four. So over at UNC, we see that Hubert Davis was fired, and I guess you can equate that he didn't win enough. But if you put him in a mid major with that resume, some would consider that a consistent, successful season, and they will be content with that. UNC obviously is not. Um, it's easy to look at this situation and be like, Hubert Davis, black head coach, black head coaches in college basketball are starting to fade, and I'm not, I'm saying that and just to say that there are very few black coaches that are coaching now, um, and are being selected to take the reins of these blue blood institutions. So you got Bill Self, who's considering retirement. Who would they consider as a replacement if he decides to retire? Who is UNC going to consider to replace? Are they going to pick Billy Donovan? Are they going to play? Are they going to go with Nate Oates from Alabama? Those are two hot names right now to go to UNC. I think Billy Donovan will be a good hire, but it'll be weird considering just his Florida ties. I just and then Billy Donovan may just consider just staying in the NBA. Why go back to college basketball where in the NCAA is a lot of chaos. Have to deal with the portal. You got to deal with NIL. Who wants to go back to that? Nate Oates, he's a controversial, maybe, yeah, I guess you can call him a controversial figure. I think if Nate Oates is offered a job, he would definitely go, considering Alabama could be facing some penalties, some sanctions, um, with playing the can't think of his name, but playing the professional player that's on the contract. And the NCAA said no, and they went to the judge, and he said yes. He plays in the game when he really should not have played in the game. So there could be Alabama's basketball program could face some penalties or some challenges next season and season after that. Mentioned before, Bill Self, he's considering retirement. Kentucky, we're talking about blue bloods here. Kentucky coach Pope might be in the hot seat. Fans are not happy with him or the season. It was championship or bust with Kentucky, and basically just to point out again that these blue bloods is championship or bust. The tournament. This is where they make their money. This is where their jobs are on the line, no matter what their record is or how great their job is. Then Coach Calipari, he said something. Former coach of Kentucky, former coach at Memphis, and there are fans in Memphis that consider Memphis a blue blood. I really don't consider Memphis a blue blood. Um, the only thing we have in common is that we're blue. And I'm gonna get to the blue blood terminology in a minute. But I what I want for the Tigers is just for us to compete for conference championships and being conference in the conference championship and competing for titles. We're going to be in the tournament and just make the tournament consistently. And if you make it to the second weekend, that's great. We when we get in the tournament, it's going to be an uphill climb. It's going to be an uphill battle, regardless, because of our conference and because the seed we're going to get. But just compete at a high level, and that's why I think programs like Houston, programs like VCU, St. Louis, um, their style of play, their culture, their tough-minded, grit, grind culture, uh, just it's Memphis. It's how we should play. So, and which makes next season for Penny Hardaway a critical season. Getting the GM is critical. Getting his staff together is critical. We have two players, Thedford, and we have Warden, who have already committed. We don't know about any more other players that deciding to commit to coming back next season. I believe we can retain. There's at least eight, up to eight that we can retain. So, we'll see how that goes. It's almost a week from the deadline that they gave the players to recommit to the program, and we haven't really heard anything. So, um, I didn't finish my Coach Cal. What he, one thing that he said that I liked, um, and this I believe it definitely relates to all sports. Coach Cal said that fans need to stop trashing their own players, and in this social media age, we do that a lot. We make slick comments. We have zero respect for others' opinion, and we just need to chill with that. But we need to stop trashing our own players through social media, through not showing up for games, not supporting the teams that we're rooting for. All that. These are human beings as well. They have feelings, they have emotions. Even though they're professionals, we still ought to have some respect for the programs that we root for, the coaches, the families, and the players. So I really like that quote, basically from Coach Cal. So shout out to him. So moving on, I created this little segment of terms that we need to do away with. Terms that we need to do away with. I think we need to do away with the term generational talent. Let's please stop using the term. There are no generational talents out there. We kind of equate generational talent to say Wemby or LeBron James as generational talents. They are really, really, really good players, great players that have put in the work and have taken on the leadership mantle of their teams uh, and positioned themselves to be great at what they do on whatever platform they're on. Uh, and we just use them. They're mostly used as the examples of generational talent. We say generational talent for this uh, freshman class coming into the NBA draft. And what I see is a collection of wings and point guards, wings that look like Jalen Johnson from Atlanta, and so just some really good combo guards, really talented combo guards. So let's do away with this term generational talent. The second term, tanking. We hear this a lot, of course, with the NBA. Tanking to me is a mindset. Tanking is a choice. But in reality, what we're really looking at is a really bad basketball team. Period. We're looking at a really bad basketball team that is decided to rebuild. Is basically what they're doing. They're losing games to rebuild to position themselves for high picks. Adam Silver has said that he's going to look into how we can change that. Um, I have an opinion, a thought of how to change that. We'll talk about that later. The other term, Cinderella team. Let's stop using that term, Cinderella team. Who wants to be associated with a woman in a glass slipper? Cinderellas and the NCAA, small teams. The transfer portal and NIL has kind of canceled that term. So let's stop using it. Let's stop using it. Everyone has equal opportunity. Well, I won't say equal opportunity. Everybody's not receiving the same amount of money. But I mean, if you want to rebuild, you can rebuild through the transfer portal, where guys can, be 24, 25 years old and make the tournament, or make get on the team and make the tournament and be good. Actually make so international players, international pro players coming to America to play college basketball. There's nothing Cinderella to me about that if you're winning. Can we please stop comparing players to aliens, goats, and unicorns? Um, yeah, players. I think if you're a team, you evaluate your player by one, just like a professional. One, not meeting job requirements. Two, needs improvement. Three, meets expectations. Four, goes above and beyond expectations. Or you might be a five and just be 100% perfect. Let's put people in those type of categories, which we know five is almost nearly impossible. But, Wimby is not an alien. Greatest of all time is just an acronym. Unicorn, I don't even know what that is anymore, basketball wise. What does that mean? But these are terms and terminologies over the years that I think we need to just do away with. And then blue bloods. So I think we need to do away with the blue bloods terminology. Um, and if we want to call a team a blue blood, I would consider that a team of blue blood if they have elite level high school players. The majority of their roster is high school players, and they recruit at a high level, which is strictly off high school players. But of course, elite level coaching, Sweet 16s, and multiple Final Fours appearances. To me, that will be considered a blue blood type of team, quote unquote. But I think we can just do away with that differential comparing blue blood to just any old regular team. These are really good teams. These terminologies, blue blood, Cinderella, you know, for some coaches it costs them their job. For some players it defines where they're drafted. For some programs it defines their legacy. In reality, what we're seeing is just really good basketball. So let's just leave it at that. Just really good basketball teams competing at a very high level and achieving great success on the basketball court. Um, Another topic: Syracuse versus UConn. UConn talking about women's basketball. The head coach of Syracuse, um, the score. I mean, it was UConn. They were just literally blowing out Syracuse. In the second quarter, it was like 65-12, I believe, going into halftime. So UConn, the first two rounds of the women's college basketball is, I'm not going to say it's not important, but it's a given that the top seed, whoever the top seeds are, 1 through 4, they're going to advance, and not only advance, they're going to advance in blowout fashion. And so once the Sweet 16 starts, that's when we really are watching really competitive women's basketball. But Syracuse coach Coach Felicia Jack, after losing 98-45, after being in this business for 37 years, and have to come and be in the bracket every year with UConn, it's unacceptable. It's wrong. For us to continue to come to Connecticut year after year, to me, is a personal attack. And to it, at first, I was like, when she made that statement, I was like, well, I could definitely understand how unfair it is because one, you're playing in UConn against UConn, so it's really unfair for anybody going up against whoever the 1 seed is in that bracket. And UConn is a juggernaut when it comes to women's basketball. I mean, they're blowing everyone out. But then, and I've kind of felt sympathy, but now I kind of just feel like if you're going to be UConn, you just got to be better. There's no other ways around it. I mean, you just got to be better. You just got to find a way, and you just got to hope they don't play well. I do think they can maybe change it up a bit, where maybe UConn plays out west the first round, or just change the venue. I don't see what's wrong with the first 2 rounds. Just changing it to, I don't know, just change the venue to where they're not playing at home. Essentially, the 1 seeds or the 2 seeds playing at home, um, those first 2 weeks. And I think the difference between UConn and South Carolina, because South Carolina has been dominant as well, But South Carolina, at times has shown a human side. They've shown that they can lose a game and rebound. I guess you could say that they're relatable, because of their ability to come back from adversity and compete and still compete and recruit at a high level. And that's just a credit to Don Staley. That's a credit to Gino for what he's been able to do. And we might very well be looking at a South Carolina versus UConn final. So we'll see how that goes. But uh, I thought that was a hot topic worth talking about when it comes to Syracuse, their women's program at UConn. So we'll see if there are changes made to the women's game when it comes to tournament and brackets and team placement going forward in the future. If that's something that the NCAA looks at. Milwaukee and Giannis. The Milwaukee Bucks have pretty much said we want to shut down Giannis. Giannis says, "I don't care what you want to do. I want to continue to play. I want to get healthy and I want to continue to play." And it's kind of created a conflict. So who's right and who's wrong in this situation, and what are the next steps? I think the Milwaukee Bucks made a mistake in not trading them in the trade deadline. If Giannis is really wants to play, then they should have traded him at the trade deadline. They obviously, even at the trade deadline, did not want to continue to risk him playing because Giannis has been hurt pretty much this season and almost the last 2 or 3 seasons. He's been hurt and has had to sit out some time, nursing injuries. So I like the fact that Giannis has a desire to play even through injury. But Milwaukee decided to keep him. So uh, I think for sure now Milwaukee's going to have to make a decision on whether, or Giannis, I guess, is going to have to make a decision either sign or they're going to trade him at maybe at the NBA draft or in the off season as the next steps. But uh, for Milwaukee, it was just a missed opportunity. They've made a lot of mistakes during the season on how they're handling things. They just Cam Thomas was just waived, and it sounds like he was a streaky scorer, high level scorer. It sounds like just things didn't work out with the coaching staff. Maybe more details will come out as to why he was let go, but I mean, he was a high level scoring player that they waived. So Milwaukee should be in a total rebuild phase. Uh, the other thing, KG. So KG came out and stated that the game has become more of an event in that there's a lot of dribbling. You got a lot of players stepping back to the 3-point line. Um, when I say that, I mean like they're driving to the lane, but then they're stepping back to the 3-point line to shoot it. Passing up threes for layups, passing up layups for threes. I'm sorry. We see a whole lot in the game, and he said the game has become more of an event, more of showmanship than just the actual game, the actual sport, which I can actually agree. I actually agree with what he's saying. Um, the game is not that hard. It just requires a lot of discipline and just playing the game. Just play the game. Make the pass, make the shot, where wherever you are on the court. Just play the game. The game doesn't need you to showboat, or we like that as fans, and it's cool. It has its place. Um, but just play the game. But from what KG said in relation to that, and what Wimby's comments, where he's making his case for MVP, that 50% of the game is defense. Uh, and then Draymond following up with that, with his comments, saying that he agrees with what Wimby is saying. He says he hates it and then he loves it, as if the MVP, um, award doesn't go to probably the most offensive, goes to the most offensive uh, minded player. We don't recognize defense as a stat, or defense as part of the award, which is not true. Obviously, defense is recognized and giving that award out, but we do seem to put a lot of emphasis on offense and offensive showmanship, as opposed to defense. And I think Wemby has an extreme, uh, should be definitely considered for MVP. I think right now the odds have him as third behind Luca and SGA, or SGA and Luca. I've stated that I believe Jalen Brown of the Celtics should be the MVP, and I stand by that. I think Jalen Brown should be the MVP. I think you could easily give to Wemby as well. What he's doing, he's having an amazing season. Also, it's going to be a very contested award this year, and I think that's great for the league. Between those four, Luca, he may not play the best defense, but I believe he's top 10 in steals in the league. So he is present on the defensive end. Although in the playoffs, we know the teams are going to isolate him, and his lack of defense or poor defense is going to be exposed. And I think with Luca, it's just a mind thing. It's a mental thing as it relates to the playoffs. And I think that even though they're on an 11-game winning streak right now, and the Lakers are hot right now, there are still a lot of doubters and a lot of even haters of the Lakers, because once the playoffs start, they're pretty much being counted out. It's not even making it past the second round. I think they have a shot. They have a chance anytime you have LeBron James on the court. So I don't think you can count that out. We know they're going to be well coached. JJ is he, you could, he's coaching like he wants to be the coach of the year. So you got a high IQ out there on the court. So they have a shot. The Lakers have a shot to make it to the Western Conference Final, even make it to the championship. There's a lot of great matchups still yet to be determined. So, we'll see how that goes. One team that's going to be in the conversation is Houston. And Houston lost in overtime to Minnesota. They blew a lead. Houston had some issues. I mean, just watching the game, it looked like the Rockets, um, they just play disjointed basketball. They look like they look very disorganized. They look like they don't enjoy playing with each other, and they just don't look like they're having fun. They're blowing leads, and I mean, when Kevin Durant is your only offense, And Sengun is a defensive liability. And I mean, there are times when Sengun gets the ball and, players are looking at him like pass the ball, or that, he makes a mistake, or just the body language of the team just doesn't look good. So for them coming into the season as favorites, I don't think so, and it wouldn't surprise me, if they don't make it past the first round, and that would be an extreme disappointment. They definitely missed the opportunity to replace Van Fleet with his injury in the beginning of the year and at the trade deadline. So we'll see how Houston handles the rest of the season. Uh, Next to Darius Acuff Jr., there's a lot of love for Darius Acuff in Arkansas, and I'm a fan of his game. The very few weeks ago, some draft boards had him going eighth or ninth in the draft. But this freshman is really showing a lot of pro potential. Signed with Reebok, so he's tied to Allen Iverson. Um, a lot of the where he was projected was where the Grizz would eventually pick up, which the Grizz are kind of sitting in that 8 to 10 spot, and the Grizz fan wise, we really like Acuff, and now Acuff Darius is now he's looking like a top 3 type of player. So, the Grizz we're getting our hopes up, hoping that we can get him, but we'll see how the lottery um, shakes out. If we have a chance to get him, and I think one of the things that came out of it was questions or topics was, is the Grizzlies fans' love for Acuff disrespectful to Ja? And I don't think it's disrespectful to Ja. I think for me it was, Ja, I wanted him, he needed to play like AI. He has a similar frame, similar, the style, similar scoring style. I mean, Allen Iverson wasn't great from the 3-point line. He made them, but he wasn't great from the 3-point line. We don't need Ja to be great from the 3-point line. But we needed him to score in high volume or be like AI on the basketball court. And it just never materialized. And I think the ship has sailed with Ja and the Grizzlies, as much as I would like Ja to be in the future of the Grizzlies. I'm surprised. I'm disappointed that he's not going to play the rest of the season. Didn't play. Um, didn't play at all. Pretty much second half this year. Didn't get a chance to increase his trade value for the Grizzlies. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. It probably will be traded, included in the trade on draft night. But we'll see how that goes. So, in talking about the NBA draft and the talent that uh, this draft has for the definitely for the first 10 picks, and really for the first round of the NBA draft, we get back to those teams that are tanking, and how do we fix tanking in the NBA? Tanking versus rebuilding. I think the way that the NBA should fix it is just have the lottery where everyone has equal opportunity to get the number one pick. it just makes things more interesting and it incentivizes winning as opposed to losing. Teams are incentivized to lose in order to rebuild and get these high picks. Uh, but I think just make it even, you know. Uh, Everyone has an equal percentage to getting the first pick. The Lakers have a chance to get the first pick. Whoever that pick is or whatever pick they make, they decide who they want or what they want to do with that pick or with that player. They can trade them, they can sit them, send them to the G League. In a world where anything can happen, anything is possible. I mean, you can start off with a you know a playoff roster, and someone tears their Achilles, their ACL, they're out for the season. Well, there you go. You have your pick right there, your high draft pick. So I think that's how you fix tanking. That's just my thoughts. And then also bring back, you can just go from high school to the NBA with, but the high school player must be 18 years old, and I think it should be a requirement for at least 2 years for the 18-year-old to go through some type of financial management or literacy program, NBA life balance course or something, some counseling, mental health, whatever. Just surround that 18-year-old player, that high school player, with other physical supports, um, so he doesn't just jump into the league and is completely lost. Even though you have, the team, which will have veterans and things like that, but the NBA, make it to where they're supporting, financial literacy, financial management. Uh, so them coming out of high school, they're not completely lost. Um, Mentorship, they need all those things just to prepare them for life, after basketball and during the season. Um, should bring high school to the NBA back. So that's my solution to the whole tanking thing. Just make it where everyone has equal percentage in the lottery and bring back high school to the NBA. I stated before I was a little disappointed in the Memphis Tigers basketball team, men's basketball team, not really hearing anything. But the women's basketball team, they now have a coach after the firing of Alex Simons. We have coach and welcome coach Hannah Hayden, and we're going to with conclude and wrap it up with uh, the story of the day being the hiring of Hannah Hayden. She, let's see, University of Memphis Senior Vice President and Director of Athletics, Dr. Ed Scott, announced the hiring of Hannah Hayden as the head coach of the women's basketball program. Hayden, she comes from the Sun Belt Conference, Georgia Southern, the 2026 Sun Belt Coach of the Year. Comes to Bluff City from Georgia Southern, where she went 23-8, 16-2 in conference play. Despite being picked 10th in the preseason poll, the Eagles captured their first regular season title in 25 seasons, earning a bid to the WBIT. We are thrilled to welcome Hannah Hayden to the Tiger family as the 14th head coach of our women's basketball program. Scott said Hannah has demonstrated a sustained ability to win at a very high level and lead her teams to postseason success throughout her career. She embraces the opportunity at Memphis and aligns fully with our vision of competing for championships. Hannah is a proven leader who brings exceptional drive, determination, and energy, and we are confident she will elevate our program. We are excited about the future of Memphis women's basketball under her leadership and look forward to building a championship caliber program. The 2025-26 season marked an incredible turnaround for a program that in the season prior to Hayden's arrival in 2024 went 4-14 in SBC play. In her inaugural season in Statesboro, she went 16-18, 6-12 in the Sun Belt, winning 7 of the final 11 games, including 2 conference tournament wins for the first time since GSU joined, or Georgia Southern University joined the Sun Belt in 2014 15. The Eagles were one of the best group of 5 teams in college basketball in 2025. Um, they finished 77th nationally in offensive efficiency. So basically, she pretty much elevated the program. She states, "I am honored and grateful to be named the women's basketball coach at University of Memphis. This university represents the city and a state with an incredible passion for basketball, and I look forward to building a championship program that embodies the pride and toughness to reflect that passion." And I believe her introductory press conference will be at the end of this month. I believe April, I think is where I read it. Yes, her introductory press conference is set for Wednesday, April 1st at El Marone Fieldhouse. Of course, open to the public. So, go Tigers. Hopefully, Coach Hayden can turn our women's program a not around, which is uh, in bad shape. Definitely worse than our men's basketball program. And hopefully, we'll hear something from the men's program as far as coaching, as far as the GM is concerned for the guys. Really excited about Memphis and spring ball with Coach Huff. I'm looking forward to the football program more than anything. Just seeing what Coach Huff is going to do, and just listening to the assistant coaches on offense and defense. Um, so that's really exciting. Spring practice has already started, and so things look really good from a football standpoint. And the Simmons Stadium renovations are going well. So uh, lots to look forward to going forward. I'm gonna just to wrap up the show. This podcast got some great games tonight. Also, while I'm at it, while it's on my mind, shout out to went to Macon Hall versus Memphis School of Excellence elementary basketball game last night. My daughters go there, and my oldest daughter goes to Memphis School of Excellence on the middle school side. But it was a really good game, very competitive game. Got to sit next to Ernie Freeman. I don't have any pictures of us. I didn't want to bother him like that. But shout out to those schools and those kids. It's a lot. They showed a lot of skill. Very receptive to coaching. So shout out to them. Wrapping it up, the games tonight: CBS, TBS, True TV. First game Texas, Purdue, second, Iowa, and Nebraska. I think Purdue is going to beat Texas, but Texas is going to give them. It's going to give them a challenge. Iowa, Nebraska, just a very odd. This looked like a football matchup, but Iowa versus Nebraska. That'll be interesting game to watch. And then, of course, 8:45 on CBS. We got Arkansas versus uh, Arizona. That's going to be a really, really good game. And Illinois and Houston is going to be a really good game. Very good point guard battle in that matchup as well. So, lots of great basketball to look forward to tonight. Again, appreciate your listening ear on this podcast, my podcast, Mike Sports Podcast Show. Again, I would appreciate your subscription so you get exclusive content. Like, comment, be interactive because I would love to hear what you have to say and your thoughts on the things that are going on in NBA and college basketball. Eventually, we will get to the NFL draft and things related, football related, Memphis Tiger football, of course. I'm gonna try my best to be more active and going to games uh, going forward. From this day forward, I'm gonna try my best to be more active and going to games. Shout out to the Memphis basketball team, Bartlett High School. They are ranked, I believe, currently number 7 in the country in high school basketball. So shout out to them as well. But that's gonna wrap it up. Again, subscribe, Mike Sport Podcast Show. Thank you for listening. Till next time.